In the cavernous Tushran cloning bay, under cyan glow, 200 soldiers stood at attention. Identical faces, identical postures, quiet as tombs.
They are flawless, obedient, born from captured flesh, but their minds belong to the Dominion.
Among them, Unit Reyes -7 felt the weight of the commander's gaze, his external compliance absolute.
I come home. We all come home.
The clones could kill without hesitation, as they had proven in brutal sims and live fire trials, yet they stood here, silent, waiting.
There is no residue of the original's memories. No loyalty except to us.
But beneath the conditioning, beneath the obedient surface, 5 words coiled like a secret around a beating heart.
They'll never see it coming.
Commander Thax dismissed them. The clones filed out, perfect rows, not a single misplaced step, and in the silence that followed, the oath waited, patient, unseen. 14 months earlier, on a rocky outpost, under a red alien sky, Sergeant David Reyes fought with no backup, no resupply, and no intention of surrender. The Tashran had hit them at dawn. He was still firing at dusk.
6 hours past extraction. The cruiser's shadow swallowed the ridgeline. He knew what came next.
The gravity beam took him without warning. One moment his boots were on the rock. The next, he was suspended in a column of crackling green light, every nerve on fire. When he woke, he was in a Tashran holding cell, wrists bound, head throbbing.
I come home. We all come home.
The words were not a prayer. They were an oath he'd taken at 18, the same one his grandfather, William, had whispered on his deathbed.
He's still conscious? Remarkable. Begin full neural mapping. I want everything.
Dr. Veleth watched through the one-way panel, her elongated skull tilting with curiosity. She saw not a prisoner, but a template.
They'll try to take what's in my head. They don't know what's buried there.
Veleth saw the perfect genetic blueprint for soldiers who would never question, never hesitate. She was wrong about the never questioning part, and in that cell, Reyes clung to 5 words, knowing that if he broke, so would they. The oath was patient. So was he. Veleth initiated the neural extraction. A cold light bored through Reyes's skull, dragging out memories he would never volunteer.
The memory architecture is deep. Extract everything, down to the echo of his grandmother's voice.
Reyes's body went rigid. A sound escaped him, primal, but not a plea.
5 words. He held them inside, beneath the pain, where they could not be reached.
Afterward, he lay limp, breath shallow. The scanners showed a blank slate. They missed the hidden chamber.
The template is clean. Now we implant Dominion conditioning. He will be reborn as the perfect soldier.
The conditioning protocol flooded the template. Loyalty to the Dominion overrode every prior allegiance. On the surface, nothing remained. In the sterile vats, the first cells divided. Skin and bone formed around the stolen memory map. The pod moved to the maturation bay. Through the glass, a familiar face, dark hair, olive skin, a temple still aglow. But beneath the obedient architecture, 5 words lay dormant. The oath was not erased. It was waiting to wake. The maturation tanks drained with a hiss. 200 pairs of eyes snapped open, identical in every detail. They walked to the training deck without being ordered, already knowing their purpose.
Loyalty tests begin now. Show me what you are.
The sims were brutal. Firefights, ambushes, commands that would break a conditioned traitor. Not one clone hesitated. After the sims, the interrogation. They repeated the Dominion creed, their voices monotone, their eyes empty. Then a debrief. Unit Reyes, -7, was ordered to recite his core programming. He did. But beneath the layer of obedience, something flickered.
A farmhouse. Morning light on a porch. Not Dominion architecture. Home. He crushed the image instantly.
A residue. Insignificant. The conditioning holds.
Thax only saw victory. The clones were deployed throughout the fleet, obedient instruments of Dominion will, and the oath waited, deeper than any scanner could reach, patient, unseen, but not gone. 6 months after deployment, a clone fire team intercepted an ambush on a Tashran convoy. 6 human insurgents, well armed. The clones killed them without a single Tashran loss.
Your squad saved my officers. Explain your reasoning, Unit 12.
Threat, assessment, and response. The insurgents posed unacceptable risk to Dominion personnel. Elimination was logical. Logical. Also a lie. We could have let them burn, but a massacre would draw attention. The plan needs patience.
Across the fleet, clones filed routine reports, but embedded in requisition logs were patterns, extra growth medium, neural scaffold kits, items no Tashran would notice.
Request 2 additional coolant couplers for Lab 7. The couplers are tanks. Lab 7 is the maturation bay. The network grows.
A coded shipment arrived at the orbital station. 12 new gestation pods, mislabeled as atmospheric scrubbers. No Tashran clerk questioned it.
Transfer these to Bay 12. Priority clearance.
Within the Tashran machines, a second architecture took shape. Not of steel and polymer, but of whispered oaths and mirrored glances. 40,000 versions of the same man were learning to speak without words, and the oath became their shared heartbeat. Dr. Veleth found the anomaly in the quarterly logs. Cloning efficiency had jumped 17%. No additional resources, no new equipment. The numbers didn't add up.
This shouldn't be possible, unless someone is diverting supplies.
She dug deeper, tracing energy spikes and phantom requisitions. Extra gestation tanks, mislabeled but routed to the maturation bay.
Commander, someone is building clones without authorization. These production numbers are impossible otherwise.
The clones are self-optimizing. They exceed expectations, because that's what they were designed for. You worry too much, Doctor.
Veleth left the command deck, unsatisfied. Thax saw efficiency. She saw a shadow. On the orbital station, Clone Reyes, -32 was assigned to monitor the original David Reyes. A routine shift, no deviation allowed.
The original looks thinner, but the eyes are the same. He knows.
I come home. He smiled with his eyes.
The clone lowered his head, just a fraction. The original nodded back. Not a word passed between them. In the lower service tunnel, heat and shadow pressed close. A human child, no more than 10, strained against a coolant conduit 3 times her weight.
15 more of these before the shift ends. If I drop this, the Overseer will use the prod again.
A shadow fell across her. She flinched, expecting a Tashran claw. Instead, 2 steady hands took the conduit and set it aside with fluid ease.
Easy. Let me help.
You are one of them. The copies. Why would you help me?
Because you shouldn't be here. None of the children should. Soon, it'll be different. When the time comes, stay close to someone who looks like me. We'll get you out.
Nobody has ever said that to me. He's not lying. His eyes are the same as the man in the cell.
Unit 45, to network. Child worker located, sub-level 7, sector green. Designate Leon. Priority extraction.
In the silent network, 40,000 copies received the ping. The mission had grown. They were not just soldiers coming home. They were guardians now. 1 year after the capture, 40,000 identical soldiers ran the Dominion fleet. Warships, logistics, comms, quiet backbone, unnoticed. In the orbital station, the original sat thinner, a rib badly bandaged. Clone Medic Reyes, -77, arrived to change the dressing.
Hold still, Sergeant. Your ribs are healing slower this month. We don't need words. He knows what I am. 40,000 of us now, sir. Every system. When the time comes, we move as one.
That's enough.
The clone finished the bandage and nodded. No further word was needed. The signal passed through the network. A single ping, a silent alarm clock set across 40,000 minds.
The original says we're ready. I come home. We all come home.
The countdown had begun, silent and absolute. The Tashran had no idea their greatest asset was already gone. During a routine security sweep, a Tashran officer found a handwritten note under a clone's bunk. 4 words in careful cursive, "We all come home." He delivered the scrap to Commander Thax. The heavy Tashran read it, his yellow eyes narrowing to slits.
Assemble every clone from this barracks, now.
20 clones filed in and stood at attention, identical faces placid, hands at their sides. Not a flicker of guilt.
One of you wrote this. I want a name.
I wrote it, Commander. An old human proverb. I remembered it by accident. It means nothing.
Thax studied him. Neural scans clean. No proof. But his instincts screamed otherwise.
Confined to quarters. Full surveillance on all clones. One more slip and you are decommissioned.
The clones obeyed, but within hours they had adapted. Subvocal harmonics hummed beneath the silence. Mirror flashes passed coded messages. The conspiracy held, but Thax was watching now, and the margin for error had vanished. The network refined its extraction map. 47 children across 12 facilities. Leon's file carried a priority tag. Protector Reyes -45.
Leon. When the overhead lights flicker twice, that's the signal. Come to Shuttle Bay 3. We'll be there.
He came back. I'll be ready.
Clone logistics officers shifted rotations. On the chosen morning, every Dominion warship would answer to a clone pilot. The schedule changes appeared as routine optimizations. No, Tashran clerk questioned the efficiency reports. Then Reyes -200 intercepted a directive from Thax. The original was being moved from orbital to deep station, beyond network reach.
If he goes into deep space black, we lose him. We have to move before they transfer him.
The network pulsed with a single question. The timeline, already tight, contracted to a knife's edge. Reyes -200 messaged the monitor clone. Extraction accelerated. Hold him in place. Repeat, hold him. The countdown had just become a sprint, but 40,000 minds were already in motion. Within hours, Thax's directive executed. Original Reyes was moved to maximum security orbital station Sigma, a dead zone for clone network relays.
This station is shielded against our network. If he goes dark, we lose him.
The clone network convened in silence. A half-second of synchronized deliberation. Then a plan, simulated reactor leak, fuel depot gamma.
The fusion reaction will be contained, but the evacuation will strip guards from Sigma. Casualty risk is minimal, not zero. We accept it.
At the appointed minute, a clone engineer fed a false cascade failure to depot controls. Klaxons screamed across the Dominion. Station Sigma's guards evacuated, racing to the perceived catastrophe. The path to the original was suddenly thin.
Go now. Sub-level C. He's 2 turns ahead. Station Command. This is Secure Transport Unit. Priority transfer papers for prisoner Reyes. Stand down.
The guards scanned the forged order. It passed. Seconds later, the original was walking, flanked by his own copies. The shuttle lifted off, carrying the original inside a shell of his own flesh. The diversion had worked, but every second now was borrowed. Commander Thax stood in the scorched depot control room. The reactor leak was contained, but the timing was too precise.
A calculated diversion. Someone wanted the guards moved. The clones were on that station.
By morning, Thax ordered random loyalty tests. Neural scans, deep core memory probes. No clone was exempt.
We prepared for this. Feed them the old conditioning signatures. They'll see obedience, not the oath.
Commander, these scans show perfect loyalty, but the synaptic variance is too uniform, as if they're manufactured.
You see conspiracy everywhere, Doctor. The tests are clean. I will not cripple my best units over statistical noise.
He's blind, but I am not. If I could just find the root algorithm, I'd prove the hack.
The anniversary of his capture. 14 months to the day. That's the date. 2 weeks from now.
The pulse went out. Confirmation rippled through the network. Every clone logged the date, and the final phase began. In shadows across the fleet, resources shifted. Ships rerouted, children quietly counted. 14 days until silence broke, 1 week before the walkout. In the communications nexus, Clone Reyes -301 worked in silence, bypassing the distress beacon's security lattice.
Once disabled, no Tashran distress call will reach the fleet. The walkout will go silent.
A door slid open behind him. A Tashran engineer, carrying a diagnostic tool, froze mid-step. The Tashran's 4 eyes widened. He saw the open panel, the sliced conduits. He reached for his communicator.
He knows. There's no time. The plan demands silence.
Reyes -301 moved. One fluid motion. The engineer's neck snapped before his 3-fingered hand could touch the communicator.
Not a weapon. Not a tool. Just these hands. He never even screamed.
He staged the scene. A slipped cargo crane, a crushed console, the body half buried. An accident.
The network recorded the report. 40,000 felt the stain. But the oath held.
6 days remained, a single death buried, but the clone who killed was no longer the weapon they'd built. Dr. Velath reviewed the accident report. The engineer's neck fracture was clean, wrong angle for a crane. She logged it as suspect.
That clone was in the Nexus. His neural log will show what he saw.
She pulled Reyes -301's memory logs from the network. Buried under the conditioning, a scrambled whisper of 5 words.
This isn't a proverb. It's a mantra. A loyalty thread hidden under the Dominion overlay. Commander, I found evidence. Neural residue in clone 301. A phrase, we all come home. It's a hidden loyalty.
Degraded data isn't evidence. You are chasing ghosts, Veleth. The clones are loyal. Your paranoia is becoming a liability.
If he won't act, I will. I'll find the root algorithm myself.
The clone network flagged her query within seconds. A directive went out. Shadow Dr. Velath, but do not touch her.
She's getting close. We'll let her search. She'll find only what we allow.
Veleth walked the corridors, certain she was closing in. She never saw the pair of eyes that matched her own reflection. The day before the walkout, Thax received Velath's findings. His yellow eyes narrowed, and he slammed a fist on the console. A snap inspection was ordered.
Inspect every clone barracks. Energy scans, contraband search, full sweep. Now.
In the barracks, a mirror caught light from a distant panel. A flash, then another. In seconds, every clone had removed and hidden their contraband.
They'll sweep every corner. They won't find the ship manifests hidden in the air ducts.
Tashran inspectors tore through quarters, cabinets, even the subflooring. They found regulation bunks, spotless armor, and nothing else.
Clean. Too clean. I don't trust it. Ground all clone units. No movement. No access.
The grounding order never left the command deck. Comms were clone-controlled. It dissolved into static before reaching any hangar.
Thax can bark all he wants. The air carries only our voice now.
The clone network assessed the risk. A consensus formed in half a heartbeat, moved the walkout forward. Dawn, not noon. Shuttles were silently reprepped. Child escorts were notified. In 30 hours, the silence would break. At first light, a silent signal pulsed across the Dominion. 40,000 pairs of hands paused, mid-task, mid-routine, and simply let go. A Tashran overseer shouted for them to continue. The order hung in the air, absorbed by identical backs that did not turn.
We don't need to fight. We only need to walk.
In the lower levels, the children emerged. Lien's hand found a familiar one, a clone who had promised.
Walk with me. Keep close. We're going home.
Across a dozen facilities, clone guardians gathered 47 children onto shuttles, their Tashran captors watching in paralyzed disbelief. On the command deck, Commander Thax received the first panicked reports. His forearms clenched as the screens filled with images of marching clones.
Seal the shuttle bays. Override all access.
The override codes died with our loyalty protocols. The doors are ours.
The walkout became a river, 40,000 streams of identical men, tools abandoned, shuttles waiting. And the Dominion had no dam to hold it. As the first shuttles lifted, Dominion warships came alive without a single Tashran command. Engines burning, shields cycling, all systems answered to clone hands.
The warships are ours. Every gun, every drive, quietly switched over weeks ago. They never noticed. Attention all channels. This is the Reyes Armada. We are going home. Do not attempt to follow.
Tashran commanders hammered override keys, screaming for guns to track. The consoles returned only a single phrase, command authority unrecognized.
Disable those ships. Fire the orbital batteries. Who is manning the batteries?
No one, Commander. The batteries are ours, just like the ships. The Dominion is a hollow shell now.
One by one, the Tashran commanders went silent. On every warship, every support vessel, the crews were identical. The same man, the same purpose. The convoy formed with mechanical grace. 47 children on designated shuttles, the original Reyes in a medical pod, and 40,000 soldiers who no longer wore the Dominion's collar.
Coordinates locked. Earth. Just where the original remembers it.
In perfect synchronization, the Armada flickered into hyperspace. Behind them, the Dominion lay defenseless, its stolen pride vanishing into the stars. The stars snapped back into focus, and Earth hung there, blue and white, untouched. The Armada emerged in silence, 40,000 souls returning. Earth's defense grid screamed. 3 battle groups scrambled. Then the clone fleet broadcast a single, clear hail.
Solar Command. This is Reyes Armada. We have 47 children aboard. Request humanitarian landing clearance.
A channel opened to the medical pod. Sergeant Reyes lay bandaged, staring at his homeworld on the monitor. The voice from Earth Command asked, "Sergeant Reyes, can we trust them?"
Yes.
One syllable, yet it carried the mass of 40,000 oaths. The answer silenced every doubt. Landing vectors transmitted. The Armada split into orderly descent, warships peeling away to holding patterns, shuttles aiming for the base. On the ground, personnel stood behind blast shields, watching enemy craft descend with ramps already lowering. The first shuttle ramp touched asphalt. The countdown was over. The homecoming was about to begin. The ramp touched asphalt with a hiss. A single figure stepped into the golden dusk, matte black fatigues, temple aglow, then another, then another. 40,000 identical souls poured onto the tarmac, forming perfect lines without a single spoken command. The original watched, still bandaged, some ribs still mending. He saw his own face 40,000 times, yet each set of eyes held its own quiet hope. A single clone stepped forward from the front rank, no insignia, no weapon. Just a temple glow that matched the original's.
He'll know the voice. It's still his, just a little less tired. Sergeant Reyes, we served. We came home. Does our service count?
The question hung in the air. Decades of oath condensed into 6 words. Even the distant engines seemed to hold their breath. Nearby, Lian stood with a clone, her small hand wrapped around his thumb. She watched the 2 men and understood in the way children sometimes do.
He asked for all of us, even me.
The original stared at the copy, At the 40,000 behind him, and the entire universe seemed to narrow to the silence awaiting his answer.
Yes, it counts. All of it.
The words cut through 14 months of compounded silence. Across the tarmac, 40,000 shoulders dropped at once. Reyes stepped forward, ignoring his cracked ribs, and placed his hand on the clone's shoulder. The gesture needed no translation. Then the dam broke. Clones embraced, hands clasped, and 40,000 identical smiles lit the dusk like a second sun. Nearby, a clone knelt and gently placed Leon's hand into a human officer's palm. The officer nodded. He understood.
He kept his promise.
The 40,000 began to move. No longer a weapon, but a population. Through the gates, past the walls, into the base that would become home. David Reyes walked with his copies, each one a mirror that no longer felt like theft. They were just family now. The oath had been kept, not with violence, not with vengeance, but with patience, precision, and an unbreakable promise to come home. And the old man who had once been a prisoner, now surrounded by his own, finally allowed himself to smile. And for the first time it reached his eyes. Weeks passed. In a new city park, dozens of clones built a pavilion alongside human workers, their movements precise, their faces calm. No orders, no conditioning, just shared purpose. The hammering sounded different here. David Reyes sat on a bench, his ribs finally whole. He watched the clones but didn't interfere. They didn't need him anymore.
He's still watching over us. But now, it's just a man, not a sergeant.
A small voice cut through the breeze. Leon ran up, still clutching the hand of her clone protector.
Sergeant Reyes. They gave me a room and a school. He stayed with me the whole time.
The clone, Reyes -45, met the original's eyes and gave the slightest nod, a silent echo of that first cell block glance.
Good. That's good, Leon.
The smile stayed as Leon pulled the clone toward the playground. It was the face of a man who no longer carried the world alone. And across the park, the hammering continued. Building, not destroying, home at last. Night settled over the park. Reyes remained on his bench, the pavilion a silhouette against the first stars. A figure approached, identical in build and face. The clone sat down without hesitation, the bench shifting under his weight. For a long minute, neither spoke a word. The silence was not empty. It was complete. They watched the stars emerge, the same constellations that had been hidden from Reyes for 14 months. Then the clone turned his head, a fraction. The same gesture Reyes had seen in the cell block. Reyes nodded. Nothing more was needed. The camera pulled back, the two figures on the bench growing smaller beneath the infinite sky. For a moment they were just 2 points of light, indistinguishable from the stars, and the screen faded to black. I come home. We all come home.